This video is going to be an adjunct to another video. I did a video showing a simple, well, we'll call it like it's a frequency generator. You might want to call it a souped up zapper or whatever, for supposedly zapping microbes. And there's different frequencies you can use. And, it's a box. It's like this. It's this size. And you can turn it on. And you could set it, you can say 727, excuse me, 727, and then hit shift frequency, and then I don't have it turned on, but you hit output and you can turn the adjustment up to where you feel it's comfortable. It goes through an amplifier. And this amplifier has these two things plugged into it, and you hold these handles. I demonstrated this before, but you'd hold these handles with the wrapped with a paper towel, not holding the metal directly, wrapped in a paper towel that's been has a little bit of tap water on it, so it conducts the electricity. Now, a lot of people look for these devices because they're looking for a Rife machine. You're not going to find a frequency generator is not a Rife machine. I'm not an electronics expert, nor I'm a medical expert or anything like that. But just to explain it further, it's, you can generate, like, say for instance, if you wanted to say Hulda Clark's zapper, 30,000 hertz, you could take this frequency generator, even though it's kind of bulky, you could set it on a 30,000 hertz square wave, and you got to Hulda Clark zapper. Now, I don't have a very high opinion of Hulda Clark, I put it bluntly, I think she was, a lot of people in the alternative world, they love her, but she's not bad. I mean, she did a lot of really good work in some ways, but she's super exaggerated, and usually I don't like that, to tell you the truth. Even Bob Beck exaggerated to a lot of extent, but I think his zapper is more effective. Now, I was curious if you could make the same current out of this with this Bob Beck zapper. I don't know, probably pretty close. I know you definitely could with any higher quality frequency generator. Like, this whole setup was $400, and I knew that was high. That's why I got the cheapest one, because I really wanted to get, if it's time you find these, you find a little amplifier, you find, the wires and all the garbage you need. You could buy this exact same frequency generator, retails for $300. You could buy it for $150, and then all this, the book you could buy for $25, or and the other stuff, it won't be that much. So you can get it cheaper, but I caution people that delve into this to stick with the common stuff. And if it don't work, it don't work. So that's what the deal is. You don't invest a lot of money. See, when Rife, and they say you post these lists, I want to explain something. You see these lists out there that say Rife frequency. That ain't the Rife frequency. It's not. Like, Rife, from my understanding, is he combined several frequencies, and I think in his early days he used square wave, then he went to sine wave later. This thing he used with square wave by the recommended frequencies. You usually stick with the simple stuff. That's my opinion on it. But Rife, when he, say he killed cancer, say he did, right, in the 1930s, he didn't use a square wave frequency generator to do that. He might have been using square waves, but it was a bunch of different things. He was using, like, vacuum tube technology, and people that came after him probably didn't even understand vacuum tube technology, so they ripped apart his machines and tried to use other types of technology to make the same type of thing. But the thing is, like, if say there's a published Rife frequency out there, say it's 660. If I dial 660 into this multi-frequency machine, that's not a Rife frequency. That's the frequency, and that is the frequency maybe Rife used, but he used a whole mix of frequencies, and there was like little stuff going on in that. Like, the main wave was 660. That would be the main thing. But there was all kinds of stuff going on the peaks and on the bottom. I don't know what it was doing. But that was what was actually killing the virus, or the pathogen specifically. It was a square wave frequency will not kill a pathogen. Period. Even like, when Dr. Bob Beck found that patent that was done by Colley and Lyman in 1992 and 93 from the Albert Einstein College of Medicine, that did not kill viruses. It says it stunned them and rendered them so they could not penetrate healthy cells. And actually that effect lasted for, I don't know. Nobody really knows how long the effect lasts. It's like theoretically it lasts like a day. So that's why you have to do the blood electrification every day. And then, assuming that works, on stuff in the blood, most of the bugs in the body are not in the blood. They're actually deep inside the stomach linings, in the bone marrow. They could be in the bone marrow. They could be in the connective tissue, in the lymph system. So, the Beck protocol, that's one thing. And I know people... Now, to walk around with this thing, you're not going to be able to, see, if you get a Beck zapper, say, you like that. And I recommend if you get one with 4 hertz, 10 hertz, and 40 hertz sold by Bioelectric. Because if you want to take meds, you can use the meds. You can just turn it on 40 hertz or 10 hertz and you're okay. See, Bob Beck said no meds. But, say you want to, go about doing stuff and you can just wear the zapper. What are you going to do when you have the machine? You can't do that. You can't walk around with this thing. So, and if it's like you got to drag it out every time, a lot of people, since it's bigger and bulkier, they won't use it. So that's the other problem with it. So, but it has a lot more frequencies and things like that. But none of them are Rife frequencies anyway. So even if they're advertised as a Rife machine, it's BS. They're not this place I got it from does not advertise them as Rife frequencies. It's but the frequencies, some of the frequencies, in my humble opinion, I'll put it that way, seem to actually harm certain microbes. Like, in other words, they say 727, 787, and 880 are common frequencies used to address a lot of different microbes. And they don't kill them outright, but it's enough that they harm them that the body's immune system can really overcome them. It's almost like, it didn't kill the enemy, but it made them weak enough so your little immune system soldiers can clobber them. And that's kind of like what the Bob Beck zapper does too. The cool thing about this is that you can use more settings. Like 20 hertz is supposed to give you more energy. I noticed when I used the blood electrification unit, not this thing, the regular Bob Beck one, I used it a lot of hours, and I've been using it for years. When I used it a real lot of hours, I got more energy. But when you start out doing these things, what happens is, let's say allegedly what happens, it's not a Rife machine. If you had real Rife knowledge, man, you can conquer the world. But that would put out the medical establishment out of business, Believe me, the average professional doctor is in business for business. And, a lot of women married doctors, they marry it. Their mother told them, go marry a doctor, you make a lot of money. So the guy's under pressure, If he saw a machine that could put him out of business, it don't even have to be the medical establishment. It could be just the average professionals out there. They wouldn't like it. They wouldn't like it at all. I know they would. Even if it cured people, a lot of them. So, because it would just cut them out of business all the way. So, why would they like that? Right? Now, is this really super effective? Some people, the opinions have wide spectrums, It goes from one extreme to the other. Now, I know, I got a real simple unit. It does one frequency at a time. They got other units out there that cost you more money. They can do 6 frequencies at a time. And they run programs. And, from my basic understanding, that's how Royal Rife made these frequencies that could clobber stuff. But he did stuff more complicated than I think these simple square wave generators are doing. Even if you're running 3 frequencies or 4 frequencies at a time, it's like you're not. I don't know if that's going to actually produce something like what Rife did. So beware. So I went with low bucks on this because I'm just experimenting with it. So I did the demonstration about athlete's foot. Non-life threatening type of condition. So if you think it works, hey, this works better than that spray stuff. So I was buying $5 worth of that spray stuff every freaking week, and I used this zapper. So 5 times 50 weeks, that's $250. So right there, that recouped $250 of my oversized multifunction zapper, right? If that happened, right? So, if it does one thing for you, 2 things for you, hey, it pretty much paid for itself, right? If it does that. So I just want to put it simply, it's not really a Rife machine. No simple square wave frequency kills a parasite outright, pretty much. It's pretty much don't work like that. Even if you got it right on the dial there, it kind of like, well, it's just my understanding. It could actually disrupt them and harm them enough that your immune system cells, the soldiers that you got on your side in your immune system, now that that parasite's been weakened so much by a certain frequency, it's going to be taken out. And that might be, and that's probably why, when people use these things, they're cautioned to start slow, because it might just be a few minutes on a few different frequencies, and so many of these bad microbes will die off, and they leave toxins. It's almost like, you don't mind the little rat or the mouse when it's in a wall because it's not, but when you kill it, it starts emitting toxins. That's kind of like what happens with the parasites, to put it in a gross way, but an understandable way. So that's why as you kill parasites, you want to do it slowly and you want to drink a lot of water. But, if the medical profession and, the government itself, what they probably do, if anything, if they're working on this stuff, it ain't going to be for medical purposes. It's probably going to be for like the top rich people in the world. And, just my guess, and they'll weaponize it. What the hell else is new, right? What comes first, the atom bomb or nuclear energy, right? We have nuclear energy today, it's unsafe. They got thorium energy, which could have been developed decades ago, which is 100 times safer, except thorium doesn't produce plutonium for nuclear weapons and stuff, right? So, right there, that's, if I see if them really spending a lot of money on investigating frequencies, they're probably weaponizing it. It's probably not used for health. So you can experiment with it. It's probably a cool idea. Just don't expect it to be Rife. Even if you got a multi-function frequency generator that does 6 frequencies or 8 frequencies at a time, don't expect it to be Rife. It might be, but I don't know. There's going to be a lot of people selling stuff, proprietary programs that run stuff. So I don't know what the hell's I don't know if it's gonna work like you might think. So I got this cheap one to kind of experiment with. So, but I do know that so many square wave frequencies, there's too much feedback from too many people, like the Beck protocol, Zapper. That thing works on a lot of stuff. Simple stuff, not like life-threatening diseases too much, but simple stuff. Some of these other frequencies I heard about the Rife 464 and 465 for like fungal issues and stuff. I heard that one's I heard good feedback about that one too. So there's probably some more frequencies in here that are pretty cool. So you got a few zappers in one with this thing. So, and like I said, you could buy, if you have these handles and you have a Clark zapper already and you got the handles and you got the foot pads and you got all that stuff, you want to buy a frequency generator, you just buy a frequency generator and buy the book and, experiment. So, but my thought is keep it simple. Don't blow a lot of money on this stuff because it's, you don't know what the hell you're getting, to tell you the truth. It's probably somewhat effective, in my opinion. And if it helps you, hey, it paid for itself, right? That's the way I look at it. Look how expensive medicines are, right? If it helps you, it paid for itself. But if it doesn't help you, you're not out big bucks. Like I said, if you have a Hold the Clark zapper already and you got these these handle things, and you got the foot pad things. Well, you don't need to buy you don't need to go buy this. You can buy this unit itself at another place for 150, 180 bucks. It ain't that bad then. So I didn't have this stuff, so I went and decided to just get the whole smear, but I got a cheap one. But I use a lot of common sense. I don't expect a lot out of this, but it's piqued my interest, so I'm curious. Okay, and I think a lot more people should get into this. But oh yeah, by the way, when you use this unit, unplug it from the wall. There's lightning going on right now out here. It's raining and stuff. Unplug it from the wall. Also, use a high quality surge protector with a little battery backup in it, so you have clean electricity. And one more thing, it's in the book and you can read it, but this generator, actually, even this low price one, they're pretty accurate. I mean, they're probably more accurate than the zappers you buy, that are one type of zapper or two types of zapper, but they're big. But the thing, to get the accuracy, it really has to be on for about 30 minutes. Because it has to heat up and all this garbage, maybe 15 minutes or so. That's really, you don't want to just turn it on cold and then use it, because the frequency might be that accurate till it really kind of warms up a little bit, maybe a good 15 minutes. And it has to be kind of like in an ambient air temperature, I don't know, say 65 to 80 works best in that range. So, if you're using it, where it's 90 degrees out or 40 degrees out, you're probably not going to get a good, accurate frequency. That's another thing too. So I'll put that out there, but it's just a little more information, and I don't want to be too long, but I want to be more complete in what information I'm giving you. Like I said again, these, when Rife says 660, I'm just pulled one out of the top of my head, does this. I think it's some kind of STD or something. It's not, that square wave 660 is not the same as the Rife frequency 660. Rife frequency had a bunch of different things going on in it. If the wave was going up, I'll just say something real simple. The wave was going square, right? It would be up and then it would basically be that if you took the real average, that it would be 660, but it wasn't a perfect square wave. But the perfect square waves, some of them seem like they harm or weaken the microbes enough that your body can clobber them, So, if your body's having trouble with the enemy, this might help you out, clobber the enemy a little bit. Maybe I'll put it that way. It's not a Rife machine, though. It's just a big zapper, so that's what it is.